Hey everyone, it's Kieran here, welcome back to another video here on the channel. And we have got another big one today regarding the FIFA 22 ratings, players, events, that kind of thing. You can see by the title we are talking about the ones to watch and what is surely going to be the best ones to watch promo we've ever seen on FIFA. There's some absolutely massive names in here, as I'm sure you already know. Not many are confirmed, just a few confirmed. Of course I'm going to tell you who they are, and there's some ones that are obviously going to get it. I'm going to go through all of them. We're going to go from outside bets, who I think is going to get silver stars, SBCs, objectives. We're going to go through a lot with these ones to watch. I'd say they are predictions, but there are some confirmed ones in there as well, as I already said, and I'll make sure I point out which ones are definite ones to watch on our way through. But let me know what you think. There is actually some OP looking kind of low level cards in here as well, where you look at them and go, maybe if they get one or two informs, they'll be absolutely sick. And of course, if you ordered the special edition of the game, you're going to get one of these cards for free. So it is quite an important one to watch, because this could be the player that you end up building your team around. You never know, but I'm really looking forward to it. Ones to watch hasn't been my favourite promo, but I think this year it's going to be amazing if they do it right. So without further ado, let's get talking about this year's ones to watch cards. Before we get into our actual cards, there's one more important change this year that I just need to explain to you guys, and that is the wins to watch. And what wins to watch is actually very similar to headliners. If any of you know of headliners, if they get a 4-game win streak, they get upgraded by an extra one, an extra inform ahead. It starts on October 1st when the game comes out, so the games this weekend and then the few weekends after won't actually count, and it is domestic games as well. If they win 5 of their first 10 games after October 1st, then they'll get an extra +1. They'll get an extra kind of inform addition to that card. So Ronaldo, even if he's got no informs and he wins 5 out of his 10 next games, he'll become a 92 straight away. It'd be like first inform Ronaldo, if that makes sense. But say PSG won 7 games out of their 10, Messi already had an inform, he'd get a second inform for that ones to watch. Even if his second inform didn't actually exist, there would be a 95 Messi out there. So that is pretty sick. I actually do like that. It kind of makes the ones to watch cards a bit better, a bit more interesting, a bit more desirable, because a lot of the time you see a bad ones to watch cards and you just decide you're not going to get them if they're on the stinkers. But if they're in a team that plays well and they could potentially be a good OP card with an inform, they could be worth picking up. So I think that's going to change the market dynamics a bit. That'll be interesting. But of course, let's now get on to the cards. So we are actually going to be starting off with the 5 ones to watches that have been confirmed so far. We've got 1 from La Liga and 4 from the Premier League. And the first one that was confirmed, he's in the trailer for ones to watch. He was confirmed ages ago, and that is David Alaba, who's of course joining Real Madrid this year, and it's likely he's going to be a centre-back like it was last year, because of course Ramos has left, they want to fill in that position. I think his card's going to be a centre-back, and 85 rated is what I've been hearing so far. His actual stats aren't out yet, you can't have a look at them, but I've kind of gone with last year and added like 1 onto everything to make him a slightly bit better. So he's likely to be about 79 pace, 70 shooting, 84 defending, 79 physical. I mean, his passing and dribbling is high. You could play this guy at full-back, you could play him in midfield. He's a very versatile card. I'm sure he'll get informs in different positions. If they get an inform in a different position, then Wants to Watch stays the same position, by the way. But he's one I could see people maybe making a back 5 formation, then playing him like centre mid. I think that could really, really work. He's a pretty sick card, of course. I'm really looking forward to him. I don't think we're going to see him too much after the first few weeks, but he is going to be a nice little card. Until about November, I'd say, straight away. Especially if they get wins to watch, Real Madrid should. He'd be up to an 86 straight away. And if he gets enough informs, he could even be pushing Hullet Gang, I'll be honest. Especially if his inform is to do with a goal, he could be pushing that. So David Alaba looking pretty good. So on to our first one from the Premier League. We saw this coming a mile off. He hasn't actually got the best card, despite being upgraded to 84. That is Jack Grealish. I'm not sure if he actually deserves 84, to be honest, as well, but he's got 80 pace, 76 shooting, he's got brilliant dribbling, but he's not really meta. Maybe play him as a cam. I think he's going to have 4-star, 4-star. I don't think we'll be seeing 5-star skills for Jack Grealish, but it's a decent little card if you want to play him cam, I guess. If you support City, then maybe you'll use him, but I don't see him being used much apart from in SBCs, to be honest with you, unfortunately. If he gets a few informs, still isn't going to be that great, but oh well. If dribbling's messer, then he could be okay, but I don't see Jack Grealish being used too much, unfortunately, so we can't really talk too much about him. A man I do be seeing used a lot, especially early on, especially if Liverpool get 5 wins out of 10, is Konate. He hasn't actually got an official rating yet, but we already know from last year he's going to be quite quick. He's decently strong, he has good defending. He has a French link in the Premier League. He's strong links to Varane. He still links across to other leagues if you want to use Upamecano. He's strong links to Alisson now. He's strong links to Van Dijk. And even players like Pogba, he's strong links to. He's got a lot of versatility. He fits into a lot of people's teams, being French Premier League, and especially for a club like Liverpool as well. So I think he's really good to fit into a lot of teams. If you maybe just need a second defender, you're not sure who to use, I think he could be a guy. I'm not sure if he'll be as high as 81 rated, because EA have not juiced these cards as much as I thought they would, to be honest with you. People that have had a good season last year haven't actually got that big a buff. It wouldn't surprise me if he was 79 or 80, but I went with 81 just because Liverpool tax, and he could still be okay, you don't know. But I think we're going to see a lot of Konate, especially if he gets an inform. Maybe he scores a header at some point during the year, he could end up being really, really good. And you just got to wait and see with him. But I think he could be a really, really useful card, especially if that first inform maybe bumps him to 83, gets like 3 pace from it, maybe a bit of physical, things like that. He could be a really good card. And heading is kind of back this year, so from corners he could be a bit of a beast. Right, so our next guaranteed card is someone who looks very good this year, someone who deserves to be a walkout. They've got an 88 rated card. It is Romelu Lukaku, and what a card he looks like. I know he's not the quickest, but 84 pace is deserved. He's not going to be the most agile, but he is a pure finisher, but he's good in the air as well. He's a bit all-round. Apart from maybe Haaland, he probably might be the best all-round striker. Maybe Haaland and Ronaldo could be one of the best all-round ones. He is strong. He's going to hold people off. You can use him to link up play, and I've liked strong strikers on FIFA actually. I know a lot of people haven't, but I like to like some Mandzukic is in form in the past on about FIFA 18. Cards like that I kind of like, so I think Lukaku could be one I use a lot. He's obviously back at Chelsea, he has those Premier League links, but still getting the Belgian links into the likes of Hazard. He's got a lot of good links for him, and he's going to get informs. Chelsea are going to win 5 out of their 10 games. I can't see that not happening. He's going to be a really good one. He's going to get a lot of informs this year. He's already scored a brace, he's already scored on his debut. I reckon he's going to get at least 3 or 4 informs this year, and his card's going to be about 93, 94 by the end of the year. So he's going to be absolutely class. I'm really looking forward to Lukaku, because I think he's just guaranteed to get informs. And speaking of a man who's guaranteed to get informs, who is going to get more than Cristiano Ronaldo? I'm so glad to see him back in the Premier League. I'm really excited for it. Well, I support West Ham. We're playing them on Sunday, and this video should be coming out on Tuesday. And he's probably going to score against us. And then again in the Carabao next week. Still great to see him back in the Premier League. It's just a love story for Man United. I know a lot of Man United fans, and it's just made them so happy. It's great to see, and he's going to be so expensive because it's Ronaldo and it's Prem tax. He's probably going to have 5-star skills. I really hope he still keeps his 5-star skills. He's not that slow either. He's still got 87 pace. He's still, I think he's the best finisher on the game apart from maybe Lewandowski. Brilliant dribbling, decent amount of strength. He's just Ronaldo, isn't he? I don't need to say much more. And Man United are a bit inconsistent, but I think Ronaldo will get it anyway. I think they'll get them 5 out of 10. You'll see a 92 Ronaldo. But informs are going to pile up for this man. You know, I think he'll get at least 3. Similar to Lukaku, if you get him, you're in, because you know he's going to get informs. You know his team are going to get wins. So, Ronaldo, of course, what a card. Perfect link to Bruno. Strong link to Sancho. Strong link to Pogba. Strong link to Rashford as well. What a card. It's great to see him back in the Premier League. So now we've kind of gone through all of the announced ones, all of the confirmed ones. We're going to do some predictions, talk about who we think is going to be a silver star, then work our way through the outside bets into some ones that I kind of like, then the ones where I think there's no way they're not going to get ones to watch, because EA definitely love the club, they love the player, they've given them a lot of special cards in the past. So I'm going to start off with the silver stars, and I think it's going to be Bryan Gil from Tottenham. He only had like a 65 rated card last year, but he signed for a big club. There's a lot of hype around him. He seems a perfect candidate for a silver star. Look at the card we kind of mocked up for him here. He's got a decent amount of pace and dribbling. I can see people use him as a cam, especially if he's an objective card. You might see him a lot being Spanish as well. And Tottenham winning 5 out of their 10 isn't the most unlikely thing, and that could get him even better. Maybe get him quick enough people to use in their main team. If he gets 4-star skills as well, he could be a lovely little card. So I think there's a decent chance we'll get him, and I'd be happy with that. I think he's the biggest candidate. Of course, if you guys know any others, let me know. I think maybe if Dan James gets a downgrade, he's in with a shout as well, and he'd be a really OP card at the start if everyone got Dan James. He's going to have like 95 pace, so there's no reason for him to downgrade his pace. He might not be the best at shooting and stuff like that, but then neither are the likes of Traore, and they're really popular. So I think if Dan James gets a downgrade, and he hasn't had a great season, it could be him, but he might only go down to 75, which would of course rule him out. And I think Moise Kean will definitely be silver next year and back at Juventus. He's a really popular card for EA. They love giving him special cards. I know he got like a team of the season last year, but they love giving him like a foot birthday and things like that. If he doesn't get a big enough upgrade, he could be in as well. So our first one, who I think might not get one, but they're in with a little bit of a chance, is Tammy Abraham. He wouldn't have the best card. He didn't have a great season last year, so I don't expect him to be any better. But looking at 76 pace, 78 shooting, he's obviously quite tall. He's not the strongest, but he can hold his own. If he gets a few informs, he could be a pretty cheeky card, because it'll probably put him like straight up to 81. He'll probably get like 80 pace, maybe like 82 shooting. He suddenly starts to look usable, and if Roma go on that win streak, that's an extra +1, he starts to become usable. I'm not sure if they'll do it, but it was a big move. It was like £30 million, so I think it's something that EA can't really ignore with Tammy Abraham, but it's just his rating makes me think that maybe he won't get one, but you don't know, do you? One that I did think was going to get one, but I don't think now because of the allegations against him, and I just think it's impossible for EA to do this. I think it would be wrong of them to give him one, but it is Boateng. I'm not going to put his card up or anything. I don't think he should have one, but EA could do that. He was looking like one before, but I don't think Boateng will get one. I had him on my list, so I think it's good that we talk about him anyway, but he might not even be in the game. He shouldn't even really be in the game, let's be honest, but I don't think Boateng will get one. If EA give Boateng one, I wouldn't be very happy with that. I think that would be a really bad move from them. But yeah, I thought it was important I include him and talk about that anyway. Buendia, we're definitely going to get one from Villa. We have to. They've signed Bailey as well. They've signed Danny Ings. They've signed some big players. They've definitely got to get at least ones to watch. And Buendia could be the one. I think if EA are going for a bit of a stinkier card, he's definitely getting an upgrade this year. He got the best tots last year for the Championship, so he's got to get a bit of an upgrade. Maybe not as high as 81 as I've put him, but I think he'll get a decent upgrade. Maybe a bit of extra pace to him as well, you know. He seems like a good all-round card. He's the kind of card you could end up playing CM, even though they're a right middle, right winger. If Villa win enough of their games, I don't think they will. That'd be a cheeky little upgrade, but I think he's an outside bet just because there's a few Villa players that are a bit more usable that EA might put in. But if EA want to place in a few stinkers, he could be their guy. And another one who's kind of on the outside because he doesn't play for a big club is Cucurella. This move kind of went under the radar. It was only like £14 million to Brighton, and he's a great player. Remember, he had that Future Star Academy card last year. I love that. I used it a lot. And if he gets an inform, he's looking like a very usable card. He's going to have like all stats above 70, most above 80 actually, and he becomes a very, very nice looking card. I've given him a +1 upgrade because he did have a good season. I think EA might do the same. He's going to be a brilliant FTC card, by the way. If people don't use him, he's going to be a brilliant SBC card, being from Brighton and also being Spanish in the Premier League with 82 rating. Brilliant for Hybrid Master and those kind of SBCs. But seeing him not as SBC fodder but as an actual card, he's a decent little all-rounder, but I think playing for Brighton, not going for that much money, it was a bit of a low profile move. Probably won't see him, but it would be nice. And this is one that I would have said was definite, or very, very likely, if they didn't sign Griezmann, and that is Cunha, who has just joined Atletico Madrid. If they didn't sign Antoine Griezmann, I think he was going to get one. Now I'm not too sure, because I don't think they'll do that many for the same team, apart from maybe PSG. But he's got some decent stats, 82 pace, 81 shooting. These aren't final, by the way. This is giving him a +1 from last year, basically. 86 dribbling. He's a nice little meta card, especially using him as a cam. He could be really nice. Unless he'll probably win 5 out of their next 10, putting him at 81. And that's like maybe like 84 pace, 83 shooting. He looked really good if he gets that. He could be a really OP card. He could be the objective, actually. So we've also got a guy who looks like a really, really good starter card, actually. He's not the one you want out of your ones to watch pack, but he looks really good. Danjuma, he's got to get a massive pace boost this year, surely. He's been known for being quick at Bournemouth, but they kind of didn't reflect it in his card. I think they might after this move. He's got good dribbling, decent shooting and stuff like that. I think he'd have a really nice card, Danjuma. He had a really good season. He had a lovely team of the season that a lot of people started to use, and he is another one that could maybe be the objective. I do like him. Not too much to say, but I do like him. And one that I think was a bit under the radar too until he scored 2 goals at the weekend is Zone Edouard. He could have a really nice card, especially after a few informs. He's already got a decent amount of pace and strength and finisher. He's kind of like, there was a few cards last year, the likes of Delort, when Ilicic gets in a few informs, cards like that, and they become a really good all-round striker. They've got pace, they can pass, they can hold people off, they can dribble well. He's going to be that kind of card, and I don't think he'll get one again just because there's been so many striker moves in the Premier League, but French links for him are quite nice. He obviously strong links to Zaha. I'd like to see Zone Edouard getting one, but I just don't see it because he's not really a kind of player that EA would like to market and put sell packs with. I'm going to try and whip through the rest of these unlikely kind of ones quite quickly, but we do have Firpo next. If he gets a decent pace boost, he could be pretty nice. I do think Firpo will get one. He's got a decent all-round card. Very, very nice player, and he's another strong link to the likes of Gil if he gets one, or Cucurella. There's a nice little Spanish contingent kind of forming on the left-hand side in the Premier League now. We've also got Florenzi, and he's a lovely card. I mean, if AC Milan win 5 of their next 10, almost hitting Hullet gang already at the start of the year. Florenzi's always sick, let's be honest, and that's a little downgrade on his card from last year, you can see here. Seems about right. I know his actual rating has come out since then, but this was one that I did on Monday night. and it hadn't been announced then. I'll try to wait as long as possible, but I think this needs to come out before the ones to watches come out now. And yeah, he's got a decent all-round card. I'd love to see Florenzi, but I just think same with most other things. AC Milan have signed better players that are going to get one, unfortunately. This one, I didn't know whether to say he was an outside bet or not, but PSG have signed so many players, and if they like kind of have a rule between them, yeah, they'll only have a few PSG players. Hakimi might miss out, and that'd be a real shame, because they've needed a good right-back for a while, I'll be honest. Florenzi was okay, but obviously he's left. But this guy's going to be so OP with his pace. I think he will be a right wing-back or right-back, because that's the reason PSG signed him. He's got decent dribbling. Although he's not the best defender, he can get up and down that line really quickly. And the players last year, like Kamara, who was used quite a lot, and Atal didn't have great defending, but a lot of people used them because they could recover so well, and I think Hakimi will be like that. I just think he won't get one because there's so many PSG players out there. And that's exactly the same reason I think Tavares Mendes might not get one. The new signing, of course, from Sporting. He'd have a lovely, lovely card if he got one. He's quick, he's decent at defending, dribbling, all of that, but I just think there's so many PSG players out there, he might get overlooked. It's a real shame. He looks like a really good card. I think that maybe they'll save him for future stars instead, and I'd love that, actually, because that card would be one of the best. It'd probably be Virgin on Hullet Gang if he got one of them, and he'd have like 95 pace, things like that. So I think Tavares Mendes, decent player, but they're going to save him for future stars. And just a few more with Trincao as a bit of an outside bet, not the best card. Joe Willock, he's decent. He's moved there permanently to Newcastle, but the reason I don't think he'll get one is because he was on loan there last season. EA don't like doing that. I think Erdegaard's the only card they've ever done that with. And our last one from the outside category is Kurt Zouma. Of course, he's moved from a Premier League club to another. He's still playing European football with West Ham from Chelsea. And I just think West Ham again are another side that have signed players that are more likely to get one, and also there's the likes in centre-back. You're already looking at Canate and Varane, who are French centre-backs in the Premier League, getting one of these. So I think Zouma might miss out just because he's kind of in a position where it's already filled by more hyped players than him. So I just don't think he'll get one for that reason. And I think otherwise, if they hadn't signed Canate or Varane, I think he'd be in, but I think he'll miss out just because there's already players that are very similar to him, chemistry-wise, in the same position. So we're going to kind of move up a category now, and we're going to talk about cards that I think are likely to get one. These ones where I'd be surprised if EA doesn't do them. They're not like bang on, it's not like they're Messi or Varane or any of them, but I think these guys have got to get one. I think it's more likely than not they will get one. I think these guys are more likely to get one than people I've mentioned so far, if that makes sense. And we're going to start off with another Villa player, and that's going to be Leon Bailey. And what a card this could be. Even his gold is going to be so used. He's rapid, he's got good dribbling, he can finish, he's going to have 4-star skills again. And if he gets a +1 or even 1 inform, he's going to be mental for pace. He's going to be pushing Mbappe and Adama for quickest player in the game. And wow, I'm going to see this guy so much. I already know it. We're going to see him strong linked to Antonio in everyone's team. We're going to see him links to Ings maybe, or just some of their other players. He's going to be pretty good, I'll be honest with you. He has good links, which will put his price up as well. I'd be really happy getting him out of the guaranteed ones to watch pack. I think he'd fit in the team really well, and I obviously want to use Antonio, and he's probably going to get a player a month. So I think Bailey is going to get one. I think he's going to be one of the most used cards. He's going to be one of the most used ones to watches, even if people don't pack him that much. I think a lot of people will buy him off the market early on. Next up, we've got Boadu or Boda. I don't really know how to say this guy's name, but he's moved to Monaco. Monaco are quite favoured by EA. He's quick, he can dribble, he's got the good stats of an OP striker in this game. I think we can see a lot of him, and Monaco are a team that are known for impulse. He's going to be strong linking to Ben Yedder of all people, which is horrible to hear, but unfortunately it's happening. I think we'll see that a lot, unfortunately. I haven't really thought about it, it just popped into my head now, and we're going to see a lot of Ben Yedder and this guy are strong links to each other, aren't we? And that's a shame, but he looks like a really good card, and I think he's someone that EA really would put in the game, maybe even as an SBC. He just seems like a really EA kind of card. He's rapid, he's really, really usable, and if he gets informs like he did last year, he's going to be mental, so I think he's one to keep an eye on. Next up, we've got one, he's an EA ambassador. He's got to get one. The only reason I think maybe he wouldn't is that Real Madrid have signed some other players, but Camavinga, think he's got to get one, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, his card wasn't the best. I was expecting a bit of a better upgrade for him. He's only got like 72 pace, 65 shooting. He's got kind of average stats, and I thought Camavinga would be better, and that might put his price down a little bit. Although he perfect links to Ferdinand Mendy, strong links to obviously the rest of the Real Madrid squad, he's not got the best stats, and that's a real shame. I thought he'd have better shooting. I thought he'd maybe have all 70s for everything, pushing 80s with a few more stats. It is a bit of a shame because I thought he'd have a much better card. But Camavinga, I think he's going to get one anyway because he's a FIFA ambassador, and EA just love to press those players, the likes of Sancho, Bellingham, Trent Alexander-Arnold, they love to give them special cards. I think Camavinga's one of those players, one of the new generation they love talking about. So I think he'll get one, but I just unfortunately don't see his card getting too many upgrades. And it's a bit of a shame, as I said, to be honest, because I was really looking forward to him having a sick, like, 81 rated card this year. One that I'm pretty sure will get one is DePaul. He doesn't have the stats that I kind of expected. They're a lot lower than I thought they would. He's only got 70s for pace and things like that, but he's only an inform away from having a sick card. If you remember last year, as soon as he had an 82 inform, he was in the 80s for pace, he was like 86 dribbling, he was in the 80s for shooting and passing. He is one that EA give sick informs to, and his inform's probably going to be like 84 first time this year, unless you're going to get that +1 most likely as well. He's going to be a really, really good card. DePaul is easy to link as well, Argentinian in that league. He links to Hermoso if you want to use him in defence. He links to Griezmann, obviously, João Felix up front, and he just gets weak links to the likes of Messi, which is pretty sick as well. Argentines in other leagues are pretty usable, so DePaul, decent card, would expect to see him. The only thing that could block it is Griezmann, but I expect to see DePaul, and I think he'll be another one from La Liga. We're going to La Liga a lot. Thomas Delaney, very usable, very, very good for a starter team, actually. If you pack him, you can build around him quite a lot. Obviously, Jules Koundé ended up staying, and he's strong links, but 79 pace, 74 passing as the lowest stat. Really, really good card. Always Delaney. Love Delaney in FIFA. Used him all the time. Used him loads on FIFA 20, used him loads on FIFA 21 as well, so I think he's just going to be one of them cards that I use again. I can see myself using him a lot. He's versatile, he can get forward quite well, even though he's more of a defensive minded player. He tracks back really well, he's a brilliant box to box. I can see a lot of people using him for his links in La Liga, as well as the fact that he's a really good card. I expect to see a lot of Delaney. And another man I expect to see a lot of, unfortunately his pace isn't as high as it maybe could have been, is Denzel Dumfries. 89 physical on this man. What a player he is. I mean, he had a brilliant Euros, he really stood out for Holland, and I think he's going to get some informs again. Obviously playing right back, chances for assists. Inter are one of the best teams in the league for getting that +1. I think this is going to be a really nice card by the end of the year. I think it's going to be quite a popular one if he gets informs, but at the start he might go under the radar a little bit because there's just so many other options out there. Even especially if like Hakimi gets one, he could be maybe pushed out of that right back position, not talked about too much, but I love Dumfries. I think he'll get informs. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Of course, he links across to Virgil or Frenkie de Jong, a lot of players like that. He's got a lot of good links with him, even into Gravenberch in the Dutch league and things like that. He's got a really good looking card. I'm really looking forward to seeing Dumfries, hopefully. Obviously, this man got one last year, so I don't think they'll do it 2 years in a row, but I'd love to see Hwang Chi-Chan again. It was sick last year. He's the one I got, unfortunately, and he was like the stinkiest, and we had to wait ages for an inform. But if he plays well at Wolves, he already scored a goal, might get more informs. He's obviously rapid. He's strong links to Adama, which is a big plus. He's just a lovely looking card for fitting the FIFA meta. He's quick, he can dribble, he's got good shooting, he's agile, he's quite tall as well. He can do with the odd skill. Hwang Chi-Chan, would love to see him, but the only thing that makes me think he might not get one is the fact that he got one last year, but that hasn't stopped EA before. Also from Villa, we've got Danny Ings. I've got a feeling they might have to choose between him and Leon Bailey. If Villa were a big club in EA's eyes, I think Villa are quite a big club and they do deserve at least two, especially with the visitors have done, but EA might not put two Villa players in just because they're not known like worldwide like Man United and those kind of things. No disrespect for Villa, I'm a big fan of what they do, but I think Ings is going to have some brilliant shooting on him when he comes out because he's one of the best finishers in the league. Apart from that, maybe not the best stats. He could be like a centre forward or cam position in game if you want to change him. I don't see him being perfectly usable, but Danny Ings always gets a few informs, you know he will, and he's always a decent card, but I don't think he'll be the best. I think with Danny Ings you're relying on him getting informs, so he's one that maybe you won't see as much as Leon Bailey, but I think he'll get one. Then of course we've got Locatelli. Had a brilliant Euros, but he's not really the most usable card in FIFA. He's not the quickest, he doesn't really have a standout stat. His defending will probably be in the 80s this year, but he seems like one of them cards like Muller who have low stats viz rating, and I don't think we'll see too much of him unfortunately because he's not the most usable card if you go off his FIFA 21 ratings. You can't always do that, but I just don't think he'll have the best card in the game unfortunately, but I think we'll see him anyway. He's a new signing for Juventus at the end of the day and they're a big club. Another one who's like kind of signed for a big club but isn't particularly usable is Sarabia. I'm sorry Lars, but he doesn't look great. He's going to be slow again. He's going to have decent shooting and stuff, but he's going to be really weak. He's got like 57 physical, whatever it is on FIFA 21. Can't see him being particularly good, but I think he'll get one. He's kind of like the stinker that EA will put in there. But the next one is a big one, and that is Upamecano. This could be one of the best cards. Bayern will get 5 wins. He'll get informs. Bayern defenders get a lot of informs. He got like 2 last year himself, I think, of Mencano, but he's going to be in the 80s for pace. He's going to be in the 80s for physical and defending. He's going to be really good. He's going to be one of the most used centre-backs in the game, I think. Maybe like linking him across to Varane, you'll see a lot. Things like that. He's strong links to Goretzka. He's strong links to Kimmich. He perfect links to Lucas Hernandez. Like, he's going to be used a lot. And he's not one I'm looking forward to. I think he could be the defender this year you see in every single team. Not looking forward to it, but I think we'll see a lot of Upamecano. I'd love to get him out of the thing. I kind of might feel bad using him even, like I did with Varane. I used Varane once and that's because someone got sent off. Please don't hold me to account for that. But I think he could be the most used centre-back on the game. Not looking forward to seeing Upamecano, I'll be honest with you. I think he's going to get one because he's Bayern's biggest signing. Then we've got maybe West Ham's person that might get one. I've picked Nikola Vlasic. I think we might get one. It's kind of like West Ham bias, putting in a few West Ham players. But I think we'll get one just mainly because we got Europa League last year and we're kind of becoming a bit more noticeable. If any of us do get one, then they'll strong link to Player of the Month Antonio, won't they? I just pray that SBC is on FIFA 22. I do think it will be. But Vlasic had a good season last year. If they up his stats just a little bit, maybe from 80 to 81, 82, he'd have decent pace. I've gone with 86. Shooting, dribbling, pretty usable. Bit of an OP player, so I'd like to see him. And I think he does have the potential for some informs in the Premier League. He's someone that when they turn up, they really turn up. Look good against Southampton. I can see this man getting informs. Then I think Arsenal have to get one really, and it won't be Ødegaard. I know they've signed him again, but he had one last year. He's already played for Arsenal, so I think it's going to be Ben White. And I can't see him getting many informs, I'll be honest with you, but I think they're going to give one to Ben White. Could even make it an SBC that no one does. Like, card from the start of the year, literally no one has. I do think Ben White's going to get one, though. There's not really too much to say about him, is there? No one's going to use him, but I think he'll get one. And then the last one from this kind of might get one, might not list is Gini Wijnaldum. And again, it's the same thing I've already mentioned with Hakimi and with Mendes. It's just so many new PSG players that he might not get one. Because I've put 3 in the next category up, which is definitely got to get one. So I think Wijnaldum could miss out on that, but he's got a sick card anyway. He might even get a downgrade to 83, 84. I hope he stays 85. That's what I've left him as on here. If he basically has the same cards as last year, he'll be pretty sick. So now moving on to my last category that I've kind of put out there, and it's players that I think have to get one. And we're going to start off with one who you maybe wouldn't put in this category yourself, but I think he's got to get one. I think Daka, Patson Daka, has got to end up getting one. I just have a feeling about it. I know he's not on the same level as the likes of Messi and Varane, who we'll talk about in a bit, but he's decent. He plays for Leicester. Leicester are quite a big club now, and it was a bit of a marquee signing. He'd be really good in game. He fits the game perfectly. He'll have like 95, 96 pace if he gets a little upgrade. He'll be quick. He'll be able to finish well. He's going to be maybe 4-star skills even. I think he could be a really good card. And the thing that might make him lower value as well is he's from an unknown nation. He's from a nation where not many people are going to be strong linking him. So he's going to only link to Premier League. And at that, only strong link to Leicester. So he might not be too expensive as well, because you're probably going to have to put an icon next to him or 2 Premier League wingers. So I think Patson Daka is kind of a perfect pick for 380. He won't be worth too much, but a lot of people will want him. And another player who I think we've definitely got to see is going to be Memphis Depay. I think they're going to pick him over Aguero. I'm not even sure if Aguero's going to get one. He's had a lot of contract issues. He's had a lot of discussions trying to leave Barcelona. And we haven't seen too much of him this season. But Memphis, on the other hand, EA give him a FUT birthday or a road to the final or something like that every year. I can't see that changing here. He's going to get a few special cards, isn't he? 86 pace, 84 shooting. He might even have had 5-star skills last year. That might be me being dumb, but I know he had a really broken card last year. I saw a lot of him, especially his 86s in form. And I think Barcelona, although they're not in the best of form at the moment, they'll probably still get that +1. He'll be broken. We'll expect to see a lot of Depay. Perfect link into Frankie de Jong. Strong links to the likes of Ansu Fati. He'll be a card that I think we see a lot as well. And I am a fan of Depay in FIFA. Not in real life. I think he's a bit underrated too, but in FIFA I think he's a lovely card. I normally see a lot of him. And it's normally like some good players that use him as well. So Depay, I think he's got to get one. And another man, this one's a bit painful for me, but Donnarumma's going to get one, isn't he? 89 rated this year. He deserves it, I have to be honest. Although I'm not the biggest fan of him after the Euros, and that's something against him, it's just the fact he played for Italy. He's going to be sick, isn't he? He's going to strong links to Sergio Ramos as well. He's going to be really good. Ramos and Kimpembe either side of him. Gets those Italian links to any centre-backs that you might want to use from Serie A. But he's a really good card. He's a quite quick for a goalie, has good reflexes, he's good all round, he doesn't really have a weakness, he's pretty tall as well, which is always good, and goalkeepers are broken this year, and obviously they've got to fit a goalkeeper in. I think this is the first goalie I've actually mentioned, so I think we have to see Donnarumma. I don't know who the second goalie will be, maybe you guys let me know. Areola comes to mind, but that's only because he plays for West Ham. I know a few other people have signed goalkeepers, maybe Ramsdale, I don't know, but I think we'll definitely see Donnarumma, and I think he's going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the game. Next up we've got Emerson from Tottenham. I know Tottenham signed a centre-back and a goalie as well, but I think Emerson just stands out as a much more usable card, a lot more of a known name to FIFA players. He's decently quick, he's good all-rounder. I think he'll end up getting one. Tottenham on their form at the moment are probably going to get that +1, like I said earlier with Brian Gill. I think he'll get one. Tottenham are quite known, obviously they've got 2 Champions League final, things like that. They are quite known. There's quite a big base for them in America for some reason. I don't know why you'd support Tottenham in America, but yeah, I think Emerson's got to get one. And this is a man we've mentioned a lot, mainly because he has thrown some of the other Atletico ones into a bit of disarray, and that is Antoine Griezmann. He's not going to have good a card as last year. I don't think he'll be an 85-84 in my eyes, but he'll be back to OP Griezmann days. He won't have the best pace, but he'll have decent shooting, decent dribbling, 4-star skills. It'll be a cheeky little cam that you can use. If he gets that centre forward, you won't even need to change his position as well. I think Griezmann's going to be used a lot again this year. Really looking forward to seeing him come back. This will be prime Griezmann, I can tell you it now. He's going to get that +1, he's going to get informs. Griezmann is rather well and truly back this year, everyone, and I'm looking forward to it. Another one that I think is bang on to get one, maybe it's an SBC, is Correa. I'm disappointed he didn't get an upgrade, actually. He stayed literally exactly the same stats. I thought he'd get a lovely little pace upgrade, bit of shooting, bit of dribbling, but no, he has stayed the same. Playing for Inter, I think he'll get informs. He got enough informs last year playing for Lazio, but at the end of the day, I'm a bit disappointed with his cards. I thought he'd be an 83 at least. Next up, we've got Donyell Malen, announced by EA as an 80 rated card. So one that a lot of you guys are probably going to pack, and I think there's no way he's not going to get one. He's Dortmund's probably biggest signing of the window. He's quick, stuff like that. He dribbles everywhere. He's agile. He can shoot. He's got everything you need. He's not short either. He's a good striker. He links, of course, as well along to Babadu if he gets one too. Have little ones to watch strike force there, and of course Depay as well. You can make a little triangle with them. But I think Malin's definitely going to get one. I can't see it otherwise. I just think he's popular again. It's something that I mentioned a lot, but EA love giving certain players cards. You guys all know it. Like, they love giving Quincy Promes a special card when he was still in the game. And some other ones as well. None come to mind at the moment, but there's some players they love giving special cards to. I think Malen is one of them. So next up we are returning to PSG with Sergio Ramos. And this guy doesn't always start off with the most usable card. He's not particularly quick or anything like that. But he picks up informs along the way. He always does. He always scores the odd header, scores a penalty, something like that. I don't think he'll be taking penalties at PSG, but you never know. Ramos. I mean, come on. His first inform last year was sick. I know it was only 90 rated. A lot of people are still using Varane over him. I really like that card though. He's normally on for a team of the year, and I don't see why he wouldn't be this year as well. Ramos is a card that I am quite a fan of in FIFA. I think he went under the radar because of Varane last year. And even in the Spanish contingent, you still had the likes of Hermoso, who were more OP, who you could use for a lot less money. But I think Ramos, especially with those new PSG links to him, strong link him to Donnarumma is a really good thing to do. He links across to Laporte, of course, after Laporte changed nationality. He's a really solid card, one that kind of links a lot of stuff together. And I think he won't be too expensive either, because people look at his pace and go, oh, we can't use him. But he's really strong, he has good positioning, he heads everything away. I think he'd be a good card, and I might even use him myself, to be honest. Moving back to Bayern Munich as well, and I think Upamecano might actually be more likely to get one, but Sabitzer is a good player, let's be honest. He'll get a little upgrade as well. I think he might go to maybe 83, 84. I've given him 85 here, but this is before I saw how EA were being really stingy with ratings and not really giving people the upgrades they deserved. So I think he might be a bit lower than this, but I think he still can have a lot of stats in the low 80s. He's going to be a really usable card. Quite expensive like it was at the start of last year. He did have that perfect link, obviously, to Conrad Lehmann. That's now going to be a weak link, but he weak links across to Alaba. He gets a lot of links through the Austrian, and also strong links to Upamecano, Kimmich, Goretzka in the middle. So he looks like a decent card to Sabitzer. It's just unfortunate. I don't think he's going to get the upgrade he deserves. Now here's one that I think a lot of people are going to want, and there was rumours he was going to be 89. He stayed at an 87, but it's Jadon Sancho back in the Premier League. Perfect links down that line to Wan-Bissaka. Strong links to I was going to say Rolando then. I've been memeing him too much. Ronaldo or Fernandes or Pogba or any of those strong links to them. He gets obviously English strong links as well to some pretty nice cards. The likes of Calvert-Lewin, if he gets a few informed things like that, could be a nice little link for him. But he's always good, Sancho. Always quite fun to use in game. It's just a shame we didn't have the pace last year, and it could be caught again this year if people have a lot of quick left backs and things like that. But maybe play him Cam. Don't give him a go at Cam. He's got brilliant dribbling. He's got 5-star skills, hopefully, again. They haven't actually announced skills, by the way. I can't confirm that, but I don't see why they'd take him away, especially when he joins Man U. He's going to get informs. He is going to get that +1. He's going to be a really good card. I do love Jadon Sancho as a footballer. He's really good to watch. I think he's got to get one. And so, our last two are probably the two that I don't want to face the most. Rafa Varane. My second nemesis this year. I disliked Mendy more, but Varane, not a fan of him. And it's not going to change this year. We're going to see loads of him again. He's going to perfect link to Paul Pogba. He's going to be quick, he's going to be strong, he's going to be everywhere. I'm sure a lot of you guys love him, and I don't knock you for that. I don't have any complaints about other people using Varane. I'm just not a fan of playing against him. And we're going to see him a lot. I already know it. It's going to be so painful. Trying to play against this in literally every weekend league team by about the end of the first month. I think a lot of people have his normal card rather than his ones to watch, but I don't see him getting too many informs for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't think Varane's going to get many informs. I think, did he get 1 at Real Madrid? I think he got 1. I don't see too many informs coming in for Varane, which is a bit of a relief for me. If you guys have his card, I think he might be good to sell quite early on, because I don't think he's going to get too many informs for some reason. It's just a feeling I have. Man United have got so many good attacking players. They've got Maguire to score headers. I don't think Varane's going to get any for scoring goals. And when there's keep clean sheet, people normally look to Maguire instead of him. So I think he might miss out for those reasons on informs. But we'll get the +1. He's still a brilliant, brilliant card, even without upgrades. And to finish off, we have the man himself. We have the highest rated card on FIFA 22, and I didn't think I'd ever get to say this, but we're going to have a ones to watch Messi and a ones to watch Ronaldo. It's mental. If any of you can get him in the same team, I respect it. But yeah, he's going to be pretty sick, and he's going to get informs. That wrong link to Mbappe is going to make him so expensive, because Mbappe looks like best striker in the game, maybe second best behind Haaland. He looks really good. And Messi, I loved his 94 last year, okay? It's a bit of a weird thing to say, because I know a lot of people don't like Messi in the game. I think he's too slow, things like that. I played him at Cam, and he was absolutely brilliant. And I know a lot of people feel the same. It's so weird to say that the best player in FIFA due to rating is actually underrated in FIFA, because a lot of people just see his pace and go, no, can't use him, he's not quick enough and strong enough. But if he gets those 5 wins, I think he will. He's a straight 94. He's going to get informs. Messi's going to have a really, really good card by the end of the year. I think this card could be 96. That's what I'll go with. They don't tend to do many informs after that, maybe 97 highest, but that +1 is an extra thing. So I think maybe a 97 Messi by the end of the year. Always going to be usable, always has some links to Mbappe, brilliant cards. And that, guys, is all of the ones that I've made so far. They're the ones that I think are going to get them. I've tried to go through basically every transfer. Went through a list of all the transfers on Sky Sports and tried to pick out the ones I think deserve one. I think Sal won't get one. EA don't seem to be looking too kindly on him. They've given him an 82 rated card, which is really harsh. The King deserves better, I know. But let me know if you guys think I missed anyone out. I know there's a few that none of them spring to mind right now, but I think there's a few that I maybe missed out that I was thinking about. But let me know who you think down below. Let me know who you think you're going to pack from your guaranteed ones to watch pack. I reckon I'm going to get Malin, and I'd be kind of happy with that. I don't know, I've just got a feeling about it, you know. But there's going to be a load more FIFA videos out over the next week and a half. We're going to be doing web app. We're going to be doing some trading tips, some SBC tips, getting you ready for FIFA 22. So let me know if you've got anything you want to know down below, any tip videos you'd like, any kind of tutorials you'd like, any more predictions, and I'll probably get round to it. I've got a bit of time for the next few weeks before I start uni to get some videos for you for FIFA 22. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year of FIFA, guys. I'm really looking forward to these cards for once. First time I've really been interested in ones to watch, and I'm really excited for it. So let me know if you are as well, and hopefully I will see you soon in another video. Goodbye.